Hey everybody, this is Freddy with LeviathanScuba.com. I'm going to solve a problem with your ears when you scuba dive. Right here, right now. You learn never to put anything in your ears. That was then, this is now. So this is the abridged version. This is the shorter version of the video. You can check out our other review, the longer version for Doc's Proplugs. So I'm going to introduce you to a product. Hopefully this is new to you because I'm going to help you fix a challenge that plagues many of us. So some people, they have problems equalizing their ears, right? And part of the reason that they don't know why is because their eardrum is cold. That's it. You're diving, you're in 80-degree water, but your eardrum is normally 101 degrees, 102 degrees. So it's nice and soft and pliable on the inside. You go down into that nice warm Caribbean water at 80 degrees, and guess what? If your body was 80 degrees, you'd be hypothermic. Your eardrum is colder, it becomes tighter, it becomes harder to equalize. So simply putting these earplugs in your ears traps water in there, allows your body to warm that water up. Your eardrum goes back to about 97 degrees, 96, 7 degrees, and it gets much more soft and pliable. Makes it much easier for you to equalize, right? So if after multiple dives your ears hurt because of equalization, this is going to help. Another challenge that people have is after about 4 days of diving, they've been pressurizing, and they're just sore. And that's partly because their eardrums have been tight and they've been stretching them out a little, but also because water gets down inside, it has bacteria in it. The bacteria lives in a nice warm ear canal, right? Tropical environment, but inside your ear, your body heats it up. It's humid in there, the bacteria starts to grow. You get a minor infection and your ears are wet all week long. So they never have a chance to dry out and the infection to go away. So how does this help? It does. I'll fix it for you in just a little bit. I do want to say my first impression with these plugs is like many people. You're taught never to put something in your ears. With these, you can do it, right? So our cool factor, the fact that you have something in your dive bag that solves a problem for many, many divers out there, that's pretty darn cool. Plus, it shows that you have some experience in the underwater world because you now have this product you've sought out and it fixes a major challenge that many of us have. So we're going to give the cool factor an 8. Next, we'll talk a little bit about the features. Pretty simple. Again, the problem is when you have an ear canal full of water, sometimes that water is really, really hard to get out. Also, you've trapped some bacteria in there, and these Proplugs were designed by a doctor for scuba diving. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means for scuba diving. Why are these safe to put in your ears and others aren't? Hey, they have a little teeny laser hole cut in them. You see that in that little square part, that little dot? That's actually a hole, and it's called a fenestration, right? And what that does is at about 20 feet, it allows a little bit of water in. So it allows equalization between the outside pressure and the inside of the ear canal pressure, okay? It also keeps the air bubble in your ear because that hole is too small for the air to escape. We'll talk about that more in just a second, okay? Now, these are meant to fit inside your ear, okay? They're held in two different ways. You can see the top part in that little flap, and you can also see the bottom part fits down in the concha bowl. It only has to fit really one way securely, and they're gonna work for you. I will say that if you have a dealer near you that sells these, which not many people do, they're a little more rare, harder to find, but if you have a dealer that sells them, they will fit you. They have a kit, they have many different sizes, and they'll make sure that it fits you fine. If not, if you don't have a dealer close, that's okay. We have a sizing guide that you can download and you can print it, and it's very easy to just measure on the ear, and it's very accurate, simple. You measure, you find the one that fits you, and that's the one you order, okay? So you can download that right on off of our site, okay? So nice little case, fits inside your mask box with your mask. It's easy to keep them together. I keep the little case around, and I never lose it, okay? You can buy them with a leash or without a leash. I will say that the leash for me is a pain in the butt. It solves a problem because if they pop out of your ears, they're a weird shape, they hit the ground, they bounce, they go every which way. Crazy, okay? Now, here's the most important part of this. You can get them vented or non-vented. You have to hear what I'm saying. Do you see this one is non-vented? You cannot use that for scuba diving. On LeviathanScuba.com, we don't even sell the non-vented ones because I don't want you to order them by mistake. You cannot use those for scuba diving because that would be the problem of the pressure pushing it inside your ears. So what are the non-vented ones for? Many people use these besides swimmers, snorkelers, surfers. We have musicians and motorcycle riders too, because it blocks sound. It fits in your ear, it's comfortable, and it blocks about 28 decibels of sound. These are safe for you to use if you have tubes in your ears. So many people have tubes to prevent problems with ear infections and things like that. These seal on the outside of the ear canal, so they don't go on the inside. It's safe for you to wear scuba diving, snorkeling, swimming, those kind of things, even if you have tubes. So as far as the features go, that's kind of the basics. We're going to give that a 9, no question. So how do they actually work? That's where the rubber meets the road. Are they worth it or not? Should you buy them or not? Should you use them or not? Okay, I think I mentioned the ones without the holes can be used by people on the surface, but scuba divers only use the fenestrated ones. I've used these for 5 years now. We did a review 3 years ago. This is our long-term review, and it's they have only become used more by us. We recommend them to more people, and so many people tell us, I won't dive without them. As a matter of fact, I think 3 years ago on our review, we said, if you find me without these in my dive bag, I'll give you a box for free. I've never given anybody a box for free because I use them on every dive, okay? They work great. They're very comfortable for extended periods of time. I love that part. There are some other plugs out there. I've used them. We have reviews on LeviathanScuba.com on those plugs, and they work great. However, leaving them inside your ears too long is like having earbuds in your ears too long. It kind of hurts after a period of time, okay? But these are very, very comfortable. They do keep water out down to about 20 feet, so for snorkelers, they're going up and down, up and down, up and down. As long as they don't exceed the 20 feet, they keep the water out, which works great. Now, I talked a little bit about they keep the air bubble in. Why? Why is that important? Part of the problem people have with their ears on a dive trip is that the water gets so deep on the inside that they have a really hard time of getting it out later, right? Well, if the air bubble stays in your ear, what does it do? As you descend deeper and deeper on your dive, that air bubble starts to contract. It starts to shrink, but it stays in your ear. The air bubble never leaves. So when you come up, what does it do? It expands, and it starts to push water back out of your ears. So it doesn't push all of it out, but it does a great job of pushing a lot of that water back out. Okay? I'm going to say the most common problem in using these things, and it's not that common, when you're first getting used to them, they're pretty easy to lose. If you didn't really get it in right, or you just kind of put it in and you're waiting to get into the water before you seat it, if they bounce out or if they fall out, they will take off. They bounce funny. I don't know. They just don't land at your feet. They bounce and take off somewhere. So that's the most common problem is people that lose them. You might try the ones with the leashes. They have a string connecting them and they're in your ears. I hate them. That's not a bad endorsement for them if it works for you. But what I found for me is I wear a do-rag. I have a transmitter on the back of my regulator. I have things that can snag the leash. And I'm pretty animated when I dive. So if that leash gets snagged while you're diving, it pops right out of your ear. And then it's no good reason why you had it in the ear in the first place, because it didn't help you after it pops out. So I don't use the leash ones. I I think an improvement should be they make them a slight color because they're easy to lose and they're clear. So like underwater, sometimes they're a little trickier to see. They're a little reflective of whatever colors around them, what they're sitting on. So they're kind of hard to see if they pop out. So the truth is, using this product, without them, after about 4 days, I have pain. With these, I don't have pain. I could never go on a 2-week dive trip without using this product because of the pain in my ears, and this solves it. It's part of my regimen. If you go to our tips and tricks video, you'll see the 3 things that I do on every trip to take care of my ears, and I went for 6 weeks one time with no challenges. And this is one of those features in that tips and tricks video on how to take care of your ears. Okay, so for our function rating, we're going to give them an 8. They're a good choice. On the quality, it's simple. It's quick and it's simple. These are made out of silicone. It is hypoallergenic, so you are going to not get a rash from these things or anything. And when they fit right, they work perfectly. And that's an example of a good fit. So for quality, we're going to give this an 8. Next up is durability. So the honest truth is, I don't think you're going to be able to keep these long enough to see how durable they really are. If just salt water or fresh water you use them, I can't see anything wearing them out. I did have a pair, as you'll notice in our tips and tricks video on how to take care of your ears. There's a product I use called Ear Shield. It's made up of 3 different types of oils, coats the inside of your ear. But something in that product reacts with the silicone here. It took 1.5 to 2 years, but it started to deteriorate. So these would get coated with that oil because it was in my ears, on my fingers, and it would start to get the edges kind of sticky, kind of gummy, and then over the time it just deteriorated. So, after 1.5 to 2 years, you would have to replace them if you use them with Ear Shield, which I still do. Okay? So as far as the durability being silicone, without the Ear Shield, 20 years, I think, we're going to give that a rating of a 7, which is respectable. Okay? So value is our next category, and this really is a no-brainer. They currently sell for around $15. I can't think of another $15 that you could spend that would give you such benefit, honestly. No pain, being able to clear easier. Isn't that a no-brainer for you? It's a no-brainer for me. They're a cheap addition to a dive bag for what they do for you. Honestly, if you can keep a secret, I would buy these at twice the price. Don't let them know that. But for value, I'm going to rate these at a 9. It's absolutely no question at all. So the pros: keeps water out till about 20 feet. Traps the air bubble in. It allows the water that does get in to warm up, so it keeps your eardrum nice and soft and flexible. And it blocks sound. That's more for musicians, motorcyclers, things like that. The cons are they're slippery little suckers when they're wet, and they're easy to lose. And another con is the leash just doesn't work for me because it gets snagged and they pop out of my ears all the time. So we're going to give this an overall BA rating of an 8.2. This is a good choice. In summary, after doing this, and this is our rating after 5 years, I have had 2 divers tell me in that time frame that it made it harder for them to equalize. I just wanted to pass that on to you because it's an honest part of our rating, but I cannot verify for any reason, scientifically or physically, why that would be the case. I do trust them, so I know it must have been something about that dive or perhaps the plugs. They don't increase the pressure inside your ear when you equalize because they don't seal tight enough. The science behind them, in my experience, says just the opposite. And most feedback, honestly, when I'm putting these in my ears on a dive trip, people are like, what is that? And I tell them, and then I say, well, I have problems with my ears. They hurt after a while, or sometimes it gets a little sore to equalize. They go, really, me too. And they want to try them. And after they've tried them, I have so many people tell me, best thing they ever purchased, and they won't dive without them. So my pledge still continues. If you're on a dive trip and you catch me without these somewhere, I will give you a package for free. Alrighty? So I personally use these. I make sure I have 2 pairs now before I go on a trip because I don't want to lose one. And you won't catch me without them. They're a great product. Go out and try them. LeviathanScuba.com. Download the fit chart and then try them on your next trip. You'll love them. You'll be glad you did. Thanks. Take care.
Remember, it's not what happens to you, it's what happens with you. I hope that you've enjoyed this video in some way and that it's helped you. That's our goal. If you did, please hit the like button below. And if you'd like to be notified when the next one comes out, just hit subscribe. Make it an awesome day.